Welcome back guys to another video. Today we're looking at the modal verbs have to and may. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, welcome back. So let's start off with learning how to use have to. Now you'll notice I'm not saying must. Lots of Czech people, when they translate muset, like musím jít, they say I must go. And this does not sound natural at all. This is just a really important little tip that when you want to use muset, like musím, musíš, just always use have to. Just trust me, it will always sound way better than must. So if you want to say musím jít, we would say I have to go. Musí jít, he has to go. If you say he must go, it just sounds kind of weird. Right, Ryan? Yeah, back me up here. Yeah. Sounds super creepy. Just sounds strange. Don't use it. Always use have to. It sounds more general, it sounds better, and we can use it in the past and the future. Whereas must, you can only use it in the present. Like I must go is now, but in the past you can't say I musted go, and you can't say in the future I must go, so it's kind of useless. But have to, we can use it in the present, I have to go. We can use it in the past, I had to go, and we can use it in the future, I will have to go. So it's super useful and sounds way better than must. Alright guys, let's do a little bit of practice. How would we say, moja sestra musí odejít? So this would be, my sister has to go. Because my sister is a she, so we have the has. My sister has to go. Let's do another example, guys. How would we say, moje rodiče musí zůstat? So this would be, my parents have to stay. So my parents are a they, so we say have. My parents have to stay. Let's look at a past example. How would we say, musel jsem odejít? So this would be, I had to leave. Pretty easy stuff. Alright, now let's look at a negative example. If you wanted to say, nemusíš to udělat, how would we say this? So this would be simply, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. So it's really easy to make negatives. You just put don't or doesn't before the modal verb have to. Alright guys, so just remember, don't use must if you want to say musím, always use have to. It sounds way better. Alright guys, so let's move on to our second modal verb today, which is may. Now, may is a really nice modal verb. It sounds quite formal, it sounds quite posh, it sounds quite fancy. And it actually has two different uses, and that's why people sometimes get a little bit confused. So the first use of may is a more formal way to say might. Remember, might, it means something's 50-50 chance, 50-50 chance of happening. So we could say, my brother might stay the night. It means 50-50. It might happen. But we could also use may. We could say, my brother may stay the night. And again, it means 50-50. It just sounds a bit more posh. It sounds a bit more fancy. So just think of may as a fancy version of might. Remember, fancy means like normal, like posh. And the second meaning of might is again a fancy version of can in the meaning of permission. So we could say something like, can I sit here? And it means, do I have permission to sit here? But we could also use may if we want to sound a bit more fancy. So I could say, may I sit here? Now this is used quite often for permission, and you want to sound a bit more formal, a bit more posh. So this is quite good for business situations. If you want to get permission for something, you can ask your boss, oh, may I take the day off tomorrow? And it means, do I have permission to take the day off? So may has these two meanings, a posh version of might and a posh version of can with permission. So it's quite interesting if you say a sentence like, my brother may stay over tonight. This has two potential meanings. It could mean like might, he might stay over, 50-50, and it could also mean can with permission. My brother can stay over. He has permission to stay over. So just remember, may has these two meanings, guys. Posh version of might and a posh version of can with permission. Alright guys, so let's finish off with a little bit of practice. I'm going to say something in Czech and you think of how to use may to say it in English. How would we say, můžu si půjčit tvoje propisku? So, I want to sound a bit more posh, a bit more fancy, so we will use may. May I borrow your pen? So this is quite a nice example for everyday life. May I borrow your pen for a second? It sounds nice. And now one more example, guys. How would we say, možná bude problém? Možná bude problém. So in this case, we're using may in the meaning of might, like 50-50. So we would say, it may be a problem. It may be a problem, which is the same meaning as it might be a problem, but it just sounds a bit more fancy. Alright guys, I really hope that makes sense how to use have to. It just sounds way better than must. Always use have to, because we can use it in the past, and the future, and the present, and it just sounds great. And may is just a posh version of might, or a posh version of can with permission. Really hope you liked that video, guys. As always, you can download the Speak Like Me app to learn all the vocab I think you need, and you can listen to the Speak Like Me podcast for some advanced listening practice and a deeper dive into loads of these topics. I'll put the links for everything in the description for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.